So Democrats turning up the heat against what they call President Trump's big ugly bill, claiming reforms to Medicaid and SNAP will have devastating consequences for rural hospitals and health care for the poor and put lives at risk, they say, to benefit billionaires. Watch this.
Donald Trump signed one of the most destructive pieces of legislation in modern history. The biggest giveaway to billionaires ever. The biggest cuts to Medicaid. This vote will haunt our Republican colleagues.
And as a result of so many people losing coverage in different ways, people are going to die all across this country. This bill also rips food away from the mouths of children. And all of this is being done to reward their billionaire donors.
Okay, you get the drift. Here now in his first national interview since the bill became law, Senate Majority Leader John Thune, who the president has given a lot of kudos to and praise to for getting this bill across the finish line and for getting a lot of business done in the Senate in the first half of this term. Leader Thune, good to have you with us today. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks, Martha. Nice to be with you.
So what goes through your mind when you listen to Chuck Schumer, the senator from New York? And I want to play this from Gavin Newsom because they seem to think that there is a potion here for electoral success for them on the back of this bill. Watch.
When you look at the Medicaid cuts that are coming because of Republicans that relied on these rural districts for votes, and then they betrayed them, they turned their backs. The biggest impacts are rural parts of this state. Rural hospitals are going to be shut down. Kids, poor kids, disproportionately represented in these districts. That's betrayal. And there should be an electoral price.
He says there should be an electoral price. Obviously, we're starting to get into the zone where midterms become an issue. What do you say to those in rural areas when they hear this threat that the rural hospitals where they live and where they get health care are going to be shut down?
Well, don't believe the threats, Martha. That's what I would tell them. These are scare tactics. This is the Democrat playbook. They've tried it over and over and over again. When you do big things here in Washington, when you do what we did with this bill in the area of tax relief for middle-income families, for working Americans, in the area of energy dominance, in the area of border security, military modernization, and obviously savings that we achieved, $1.5 trillion in savings, which is historic, hasn't happened ever. Mm-hmm. But these are reforms that needed to be made, and the American people understand that. And I think the American people also believe that there ought to be work requirements for people who benefit from Medicaid or food stamps. There ought to be some expectation, at least, that you're going to try and get a job or do some community service or try to, back to school, do something that will put you in a position where perhaps you don't have to have the government assistance. The government assistance is there for people who need it. It will continue to be there. Rural hospitals are going to be fine. We put a significant reinvestment into the bill to help out with rural hospitals in the event that they're experiencing, financial issues as a result of any changes that have been made. But the fact of the matter is, these are changes that are long overdue. We've got a $36 trillion debt growing by the day, and it was high time that we did some things to make this country, get this country on a more sustainable fiscal path and restore some fiscal sanity. And so the changes that we made are common sense changes that the American people, once they hear about them, they're going to agree with.
So Brooke Rollins says that the 34 million able-bodied adults that may now no longer be eligible for Medicaid because they can work and they only have to work 20 hours a week is a very small, I think, number of hours to ask for. Here she is talking about where those workers could go.
When you think about there are 34 million able-bodied adults in our Medicaid program. There are plenty of workers in America. Mass deportations continue, but in a strategic and intentional way.
So let me ask you this with regard to immigration. The president the other day said no amnesty. That's not going to happen. He said it's going to be work programs. We're going to have a work arrangement. So is this the moment, now that the big, beautiful bill is passed, what are you planning to take on next? And is a work program would have to go through Congress and be approved, correct?
Well, I think there are things that we can do to create, obviously we've got workforce crisis in this country. And as she pointed out, we have a lot of people, able-bodied adults who, are on programs. And frankly, again, one of the things that we said as a result of the legislation that we passed last week is there ought to be some reasonable expectation that people who are getting benefits through government programs are at least attempting to find jobs. And there are jobs out there, as she points out. There's certainly a lot of work in the ag sector of our economy. But I think the American people, Martha, agree with us that when it comes to government programs, when they're taking money out of the economy, out of the pockets of hardworking Americans, sending it to Washington, D.C., there ought to be a reasonable expectation that you're going to do your best to root out fraud, waste, and abuse, that you're going to do your best to ensure that there are work requirements and that there aren't people who are benefiting from these programs who aren't eligible for them, like illegal immigrants, like other people who should be working. Those are all, I think, reasonable reforms that make these programs fiscally stronger and more sustainable for the long term so they can continue to deliver the benefits for whom they were intended.
Yeah.
And that's what this is all about.
All right, just quickly, are you going to take up immigration reform at a moment when you still have a majority in the Senate and the House and, of course, the White House? Will that be next on the list?
Well, we'll see. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of interest, as you might expect. The president's done a great job at securing the border. And you know, you think about the progress that we've made in the first 6 months here. He's literally shut the border down. But we do need policies that create legal pathways into this country for people we need in our workforce. And I'm a big believer. It's been described as a big wall and a big gate. You need a big wall to discourage people from coming here illegally, and a big gate to allow people to come into the country that we need to keep our economy growing and expanding. And I think with the changes that we made in the tax policies, the regulatory policies, the energy policies, you're going to see tremendous growth in the economy, which benefits everybody.
All right. Majority Leader Thune, thank you very much, sir.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.